Okay, we on? Marcia, stand up, will you please? Come on. I want to introduce you to Marcia Bockelman. She was actually here, and they built the church around her. That's how long she's been coming. And she lost her husband, Fred, a while back, and now she's moving to Arkansas to be closer to her family. And this is her last Sunday here, and we are going to miss you so much. But I hope that you'll stay in touch, and I don't want you to go. Yeah, well, good luck to you. Yeah. Rodney? Where were you last week?
Wasn't there?
No, you weren't here. Yeah. Roberto? Yeah, first time in 5 years, isn't it? Close? Yeah. I hope that shows up in the offering. 5 years. And these are two of my very dear friends. We went to school together, Tony Boehm and Susan Burnett Hampson. And we were quite the crew back then. Young kids don't have much maturity, and they do a lot of dumb things. And when we were in school, our school trip was in New York City. And we just got a hare one night and went out and walked through New York City in the darkness and through all the streets. And very stupid thing to do, but that's just what young people do, you know. Of course, we were in our 40s when it happened. So, well, I've got good news and bad news for you. The bad news is somebody stole my credit card. Yeah. The good news is whoever stole it spends less money than I do. Yeah. There is a positive viewpoint on everything. What's that ditty you sing? Hey, give us a line of that, will you? I've had this in my head all week, and it's a little something that Geneva does. Oh, good. Da-da-da.
You gotta accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In-Between. To illustrate my last remark, Jonah in the well, Noah in the ark. What did they do just when everything looked so dark? Well, they said you better accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative. Don't mess with Mr. In-Between. No, don't mess with Mr. In-Between. Let him go!
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Geneva actually comes from a musical family. When she was just a little girl, her father was a drummer, was he? And he played with all the greats, Count Basie and Duke Ellington. And Geneva's little girl would sit in the steps next to the stage, and just has this incredible history of jazz and also singing in church. She'd been with us for 25 years, I believe. Anyway, I welcome you here this morning. I appreciate your presence. I truly send my gratitude out for you being here, because it's good for me to spend time with you on this Sunday morning. I wish you well. I wish you happiness. I wish you free of all suffering. And sometimes it's difficult to do. You know, we are human beings, and we're also spiritual beings. As human beings, we have these physical bodies, we have muscle, we have tissues, we have bones. They're made up of cells. The cells are made up of molecules. The molecules are made up of atoms, and you have this subatomic particles within the atoms, and it's all energy. It's all this incredible energy. You have the energy within you to supply the power needs of this entire city. That's the energy that you have, and that energy activates when you need it, subconsciously. If you cut your finger, immediately the healing energy within you activates to heal that cut. If you have emotional or mental maladies, that healing energy can allow you to heal those emotional wounds, once again subconsciously. So with all this energy, what would it happen if we learned how to utilize it and to direct it ourselves, and it went way beyond just subconscious use, but it went to our direct effort of healing something in our lives? Well, a good friend of mine is coming this week, Friday night. Her name's Donna Eden. And she actually, over her lifetime, has been studying this energy healing thing and has come up with practices where you can actually direct the energy in your body to heal that which is creating some sort of a discomfort or an ill feeling for you. Friday night, I think, is the introduction. Then if you want, you can come Saturday. But just this tremendous science. I mean, this is science and spirituality mixed, and it's right on the cutting edge of what possibly can be in the very near future during our lifetimes. Today, the title of the lesson is Answering the Call. And you might wonder, what call? Well, it's not answering the call for you to be more successful. It's not answering the call for you to make more money. It's not answering the call for you to give more money to the church. It's not answering the call for you to lose weight. It's not answering the call for you to get rid of nagging habits. It's not answering the call for you to go out in the world and please everybody so that everybody likes you. You know, which we usually hear about in regards to our objectives and our goals. Let's become more. Let's do more. Let's please people so that everybody likes us. Now, isn't that dream come true? Wouldn't that be nice if everybody liked you? So no matter where you went, people would be there and support you and really, really like you. It just, when everybody likes me, I'll know that I've arrived. It's just, it's a dream come true. But it's never going to happen. That's an illusion. Nobody has ever done that. Our greats, whether it be Gandhi or Jesus or Martin Luther King or whoever it was, nobody has ever gotten to the point where everybody liked them. And that's because people are different. You know, we have different beliefs. We have different likes. We have different dislikes. And if you run into somebody that has different likes and dislikes than you and different beliefs than you, there's a possibility that they might not like you, because you're different. And their insecurities force them to make you wrong in order for them to feel like they're right. They just can't grasp the great diversity of God's creativity. So when we run into these people that don't like us, you know, instead of trying to change ourselves and move away from that true and natural self that we are, instead of trying to change ourselves and kowtow being a Chinese word which indicates to kneel down as if to say yes to a master, kowtow to their demands, kowtow to their expectations, and just stand very firmly, confidently, and courageously in who we are, and not worry about whether they like us or not. That is when we have the greatest sense of selfhood, when we're being who we are. You wonder what God's will is for you. You wonder what God's desire is for you. It's to be exactly who you are. It's like a radio station. You take a radio station and you fine-tune it, and when you get right exactly on the mark, the music or the message comes through very clearly, very pure, very focused. But if you move that just a little bit one way or the other, that message is interfered with. It is the same thing with us. When we can find our channel, so to speak, when we can find that part of us that is true and natural and untainted and unadulterated by desires to be something that we're not or to not be something that we are, when we find that channel, we resonate with our unique and individual nature and at the same time resonate with the nature of the universe. That's the only way we can do it. You cannot resonate with the nature of the universe by trying to be something that you're not and not resonating with your own nature. The two go together. Yet, it's very difficult to go through life and find people that stand in their selfhood but expect us to change and become more like them. I remember a couple of years ago I went to my cousin and I went to another cousin's wedding, and it so happened that the cousin's bride came from a very traditional, fundamental family. And at the reception, we're sitting around this big table. There's about 8 people there. And a lady across the table asked me what I did, and I told her I was a Unity minister. She said, "Oh, I've been reading Unity's publication, The Daily Word, for years and years and years. I like it." Then the lady next to her said, "Well, what does Unity believe in?" And so I started to explain some of the basic Unity beliefs. And I discovered as I was explaining these beliefs to her, the bride's uncle, who was sitting right next to my cousin Ozzy, is me, my cousin Ozzy, and the bride's uncle, every time I would say something, he would snort, or he would spew, or he'd hump. Hump. Anybody here know anyone that harumps? They don't speak their voice, they just hump, hump. So anyway, he was doing this as I was explaining these principles. And it got to the point where I almost felt like he was humping so much, I almost felt like I should give him the Heimlich maneuver. But instead of grabbing him under the rib cage and jerking up, I wanted to grab him under the chin and jerk him up. Now, I know that is not very Christian of me. And, as we talk about every Sunday, what happens in this room stays in this room. Okay? But at least I'm telling the truth. Anyway, there I am, sitting at this table, talking to this lady about what unity believes in, with their humper, and going on and on and on. Finally, he gets up and he throws his napkin down on the table, and he says, "That's it. I'm going to sit at a table across the room where there aren't any unity people." And my cousin Ozzy said, "Why don't you go to hell? There's no unity people there." Oh, boy. I'm a little confused in this day and age. Is hell like a swear word? When we were kids, we couldn't say it. But it's not really a swear word, is it? Hell? Heaven? Hell? Hell no, this guy says. That's good advice. Good advice. So, when you meet with somebody that resists the person that you are, and they expect you to change, or they want you to meet their expectations of who you are, how do you handle that delicately? It probably would have been much easier for me, and maybe even more polite, to stop speaking about unity when I noticed that this guy was being disturbed by some of our principles. It might have been easier, and perhaps more polite, if I would have stopped talking about unity and entertained him in another topic, agreed with everything that he said, and he'd walk away thinking, "Gosh, he is a great guy." I could have easily done that. And Jesus addresses in the book of Matthew, he says, and I paraphrase, he says, "You can please all people. You can harmonize yourselves so you align with their thoughts and their actions. You can be liked by all people, but if you lose yourself, if you lose your true self, if you lose your soul in that process, what do you gain?" And that's a question for us to answer today. What do you gain if you give up yourself, if you give up your soul to win somebody else's favor? What do you gain? Whenever I do it, I gain an ill feeling, like I'm not being true to myself. I gain an uncomfortable feeling because I'm trying to be something that I'm not, and I can never be anything as well as I can be myself. So we have to put our focus on confidence and courage and move forth and just be who we are, recognizing that other people might not like us. Other people might have different thoughts, and that's okay. That's just part of the diversity. But the people that do like you are going to gravitate towards you. They're going to support you. You're going to be encircled by a group of people that resonate with who you are and they appreciate who you are. If we look through history, all the people that truly stood their ground and expressed their most pure selfhood are the ones in the history books. Jesus, he certainly rattled a lot of cages and met with a lot of hatred and a lot of rejection and a lot of despise. But he stood his ground, and 2,000 years later, we still have a message of his that we're speaking about, that we can resonate with. All the great people were who they were, and they weren't out there changing like chameleons every time somebody else demanded something of them.